Singer-songwriter Carly Simon has revealed she's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The 83-year-old said she took time to come to terms with this diagnosis before deciding to make it public.
Carly Simon, the legendary singer-songwriter whose music has inspired generations, is once again making headlines after reports of a heartbreaking health development. At 83, she is said to be saying goodbye in a way that has left many reflecting on her extraordinary life and remarkable career. But what exactly has happened? How is she facing this difficult chapter? And what has made her journey so meaningful? Let's take a closer look at the story behind the headlines. Carly Simon's journey back home. For years, Carly Simon's quiet disappearance from public life left fans asking the same question. Where had the legendary singer gone? One of America's most beloved singer-songwriters, whose music had once filled concert halls and topped the charts, seemed to have stepped away without much explanation. Rumors circulated, curiosity grew, and many wondered whether she had retired for good. But when Simon finally addressed her long absence, she revealed that her decision had been deeply personal. Rather than chasing the spotlight, she had chosen something she felt was far more important: protecting her peace, adjusting to life's unexpected changes, and taking care of herself away from public attention. Simon admitted that throughout those years, countless people reached out to ask about what she described as her relative silence. Fans, friends, and members of the media all wanted to know why she had vanished from interviews, concerts, and public events. Yet she explained that she simply wasn't ready to answer those questions. Before speaking publicly, she needed time to fully understand the changes happening in her own life. Instead of rushing to explain herself, she focused on accepting her new reality, learning how to adapt, and deciding whether she even wanted to share that deeply personal journey with the world. Part of her decision to stay out of the public eye also came from changes that affected how she felt about herself. Simon openly acknowledged that these changes made her increasingly self-conscious, making public appearances far more difficult than they had once been. Living under constant public attention can be exhausting for anyone, and she no longer felt comfortable placing herself under that level of scrutiny. Rather than forcing herself to maintain a celebrity image, she chose a quieter, more private life where she could heal, regain confidence, and move at her own pace without feeling pressured by public expectations. Even though she was rarely seen, Simon made it clear that she had never abandoned the one thing that had always defined her: music. While the public saw silence, she was quietly creating behind the scenes. She continued writing songs, composing melodies, and recording new material, finding comfort, purpose, and stability through her creative work. Music remained her constant companion, helping her navigate difficult seasons while giving her hope for the future. Those years of privacy eventually led to something meaningful. They became the foundation for Comes in Waves, her first collection of original songs since 2008. For Simon, the album represented far more than a musical comeback. It reflected years of personal reflection, emotional healing, quiet determination, and renewed inspiration. Although life now moves at a gentler pace than it once did, she emphasized that her passion for creating never faded. Her absence, she insisted, was never a goodbye. It was simply a necessary pause before returning with fresh music and a renewed sense of purpose. But what could have influenced her decision to leave the spotlights? Could she be going through serious struggles? What is the main reason behind her departure? Let's find out. Why Carly Simon left fame behind. After spending many years away from public attention, legendary singer-songwriter Carly Simon has finally opened up about the deeply personal reasons behind her quiet disappearance from the spotlight. For a long time, many fans wondered why one of music's most celebrated voices had chosen such a private life. Some assumed she had simply retired or lost interest in performing. But Simon has now revealed that the truth was far more personal and heartbreaking. Her decision had nothing to do with losing her love for music. Instead, it was shaped by serious health challenges that slowly changed nearly every part of her daily life. Simon explained that she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a condition that gradually affected her movement, strength, and independence. Around the same period, she also faced another frightening battle when doctors discovered basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer, on her face. Although the cancer was successfully removed through surgery, The experience left both physical and emotional scars. Facing two major health struggles at once forced her to rethink the life she had always known. As Parkinson's progressed, everyday tasks became much harder than they had once been. She experienced growing fatigue, stiffness, and difficulty moving around. Even after undergoing several joint replacement surgeries, simple activities like walking comfortably, standing without assistance, or remaining physically active became increasingly difficult. These limitations were frustrating for someone who had once enjoyed an energetic and independent lifestyle. The facial surgery also had a lasting emotional impact. While it successfully removed the cancer, it changed the way she looked, making her feel uncomfortable about appearing in public. Simon admitted that she had always been overly critical of her own appearance, and the surgery only deepened those insecurities. Rather than constantly worrying about how others might see her, she chose to step away from public life. Looking back, she described withdrawing from the spotlight as the most comfortable and manageable decision she could make during such a difficult period. Yet despite becoming less visible, Simon never stopped being an artist. Music remained her safe place and her greatest source of comfort. She continued writing songs, recording new material, and letting her creativity give purpose to days that often felt uncertain because of her illness. Working on her album Comes in Waves reminded her that although illness could reshape her circumstances, it could never take away her passion or define who she truly was. Today, Simon speaks with deep gratitude for the love and encouragement she has received from her family, caregivers, and loyal fans. While she admits that living with Parkinson's can be difficult, frustrating, and even frightening, she refuses to let it defeat her. She now embraces life at a slower pace, accepts help when needed, and continues creating music with determination. Her time away from the spotlight, she says, was never about giving up. It was about protecting herself, finding peace, and proving that even life's greatest challenges cannot silence a determined spirit. Is this the first time Carly Simon would be going through health challenges? What has it been like for her in the past? Stay with us. Carly Simon's extraordinary battles through illness. Carly Simon's journey has never been defined only by her music. Behind the unforgettable songs and worldwide success lies a lifetime of health struggles, personal battles, and quiet determination. Time and again, she has faced challenges that could have ended her career, yet each one revealed a deeper strength that kept her moving forward, even when life became incredibly difficult. Her first major obstacle appeared when she was only about 8 years old. Simon developed a severe stutter that made everyday conversations frustrating and, at times, emotionally painful. Speaking became something she often feared, but she discovered that singing was different. Whenever she sang, the words flowed naturally without the same struggle. Music soon became much more than a hobby. It became her voice, her safe place, and the one way she could express thoughts and emotions that ordinary speech could not. She has also spoken openly about living with dyslexia, believing that the condition encouraged her to think differently and helped shape the imaginative, poetic style that made her songwriting so distinctive. Years later, another unexpected challenge arrived. In the late 1990s, Simon was diagnosed with breast cancer, a life-changing moment that forced her to step away from the demands of her career and focus on recovery. She underwent treatment with remarkable courage and eventually overcame the disease. Rather than allowing the experience to define her, she returned to making music with renewed appreciation for life. Surviving cancer added another chapter to a career that had already been filled with public scrutiny, personal heartbreak, and the constant pressures that often come with fame. Then came perhaps her most difficult chapter yet. In July 2026, Simon publicly revealed that she had been living with Parkinson's disease, finally explaining the mystery behind her long absence from public appearances. She described the illness as unpredictable, bringing overwhelming tiredness, reduced movement, and emotional ups and downs that made everyday activities far more difficult than most people realized. According to Simon, her physical struggles became even more noticeable after serious joint problems required both knee and hip replacement surgeries. As if that were not enough, she also faced another health setback around the same time when doctors diagnosed her with basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer. Although surgery successfully removed the cancer from her face, the visible changes left her feeling self-conscious and reluctant to appear in public. Combined with ongoing fatigue, medical treatments, and the emotional weight of adapting to a new reality, these challenges ultimately led her to retreat from the spotlight. Yet, Carly Simon refuses to let illness silence her creativity. She continues to write, record, and find comfort in the music that has always sustained her. Her upcoming album, Comes in Waves, marks her first major collection of original songs in nearly 20 years. While life now moves at a gentler pace, Simon remains deeply devoted to her family, her art, and the enduring passion that has defined her extraordinary life. What was growing up like for Carly Simon? Does her childhood seem to have any impact on her career? Stay glued. The making of Carly Simon. Carly Simon entered the world on June 25, 1945, in New York City. But her story began long before she ever stepped onto a stage. She was born into a family where creativity was part of everyday life. Her father, Richard L. Simon, helped build the famous publishing company Simon & Schuster, while her mother, Andrea Heinemann Simon, was not only a talented singer, but also a passionate civil rights advocate. Surrounded by books, music, and thoughtful conversations, Carly grew up in an environment that encouraged imagination and artistic expression. Although she could not have known it at the time, these early experiences would become the foundation of the remarkable songwriting career that would later captivate millions around the world. Much of Carly's childhood was spent in the peaceful Riverdale neighborhood of the Bronx, along with memorable summers at the family's home in Connecticut. From the outside, her life appeared comfortable and privileged. Yet, behind that picture-perfect upbringing, she quietly battled feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. One of her greatest struggles was a severe stammer that made everyday conversations frustrating and often left her feeling embarrassed and isolated. Speaking in front of others became a challenge, and she frequently questioned her own confidence. Then, something extraordinary happened. Whenever she began to sing, the stammer simply disappeared. Music gave her a freedom that ordinary speech never could. It became more than just entertainment. It became her safe place, her voice, and the key that unlocked her confidence. As she grew older, Carly's love for music deepened. Inspired by the booming folk music movement of the late 1950s and early 1960s, she discovered that performing brought her genuine joy. She joined forces with her older sister, Lucy Simon, and together they formed a folk duo called the Simon Sisters. The pair performed in intimate clubs and cozy coffeehouses, gradually building a loyal audience with their warm harmonies and heartfelt performances. Their persistence eventually earned them a recording contract, and national recognition soon followed. Their 1964 recording of Winkin' Blinkin' and Nod, inspired by the beloved children's poem, became their breakthrough success and introduced the Simon Sisters to listeners across America. Determined to turn her passion into a lifelong career, Carly attended Riverdale Country School before enrolling at Sarah Lawrence College. However, she soon realized that her heart belonged to music rather than the classroom. With courage and conviction, she made the bold decision to leave college and devote herself completely to performing and songwriting. Looking back, every chapter of Carly Simon's early life helped shape the artist she would become. Her creative family nurtured her imagination. Her childhood struggles taught her resilience. Music transformed her greatest weakness into her greatest strength, and her partnership with her sister gave her the confidence to step onto the national stage. Those formative years laid the groundwork for a legendary career that would eventually make Carly Simon one of America's most admired and influential singer-songwriters. What was marriage like for Carly Simon? Did it have any effect on her career or health? Stay tuned. Carly Simon's journey through love. Carly Simon's love life has often drawn as much attention as her music, filled with famous romances, deep emotions, lasting memories, and heartbreaking endings. While millions admired her powerful voice and heartfelt songs, her personal journey was shaped by relationships that experienced both joyful highs and painful lows. In 1972, Simon married fellow singer-songwriter James Taylor, creating one of the most celebrated couples in the music world. Fans were fascinated by their relationship because both were already successful artists with remarkable careers. Together, they welcomed 2 children, Sally and Ben Taylor, who later followed in their parents' footsteps by building careers in music. During their years together, Simon and Taylor managed the difficult task of raising a family while maintaining demanding recording schedules and international fame. They occasionally worked together creatively, making them one of the industry's most admired musical partnerships. However, life in the spotlight brought constant pressure. Busy careers, endless public attention, and personal struggles slowly placed strain on their marriage. Over time, the closeness they once shared began to fade, and after more than 10 years together, they divorced in 1983. For Simon, the separation was deeply painful. She has openly described it as one of the hardest moments of her life. Although she and Taylor eventually reconnected in later years and developed a respectful friendship, she admitted that they never fully regained the bond they once enjoyed. Even so, she has always remained thankful for the family they created and the 2 children they continue to cherish. Several years later, Simon found love again. In 1987, she married writer, poet, and businessman James Hart. Together, they built a quieter life on Martha's Vineyard, far from the constant attention of Hollywood and the music industry. The peaceful setting gave Simon the privacy she had long desired. Their marriage lasted nearly 20 years before ending in divorce in 2007. Before her marriages, Simon was also romantically linked to several well-known figures, including actor Warren Beatty. Her relationships have fueled public curiosity for decades, especially because of her legendary hit song, "You're So Vain." The mystery surrounding the song's inspiration has remained one of music's greatest talking points, with Simon revealing only small hints over the years. Alongside love and heartbreak, Simon has courageously spoken about her struggles with anxiety and severe stage fright. Rather than allowing these challenges to define her, she continued writing songs, recording albums, publishing memoirs, and staying close to her children. Through every success and setback, Carly Simon's life has become a remarkable story of resilience, growth, enduring love, and extraordinary artistic achievement. Now, what was Carly Simon's career journey like? How did she rise to become a music icon? Let's find out! Carly Simon's extraordinary musical legacy. Carly Simon's journey to becoming one of America's most admired singer-songwriters is a story of talent, determination, and timeless creativity. Long before she became a global music icon, she first stepped into the spotlight during the 1960s as one half of the Simon Sisters, a folk music duo she formed with her older sister, Lucy Simon. While the pair earned respect for their gentle harmonies and thoughtful songs, it soon became clear that Carly possessed a unique voice and songwriting gift that could carry her even further. When the duo went their separate ways, she bravely began a solo career that would soon transform her into one of the biggest stars of the 1970s. Her breakthrough came in 1971 with the release of her self-titled debut album. The record instantly captured the attention of critics and music lovers, earning her the Grammy Award for Best New Artist. It marked the beginning of an extraordinary run of success that saw Carly dominate radio stations and music charts around the world. Her songs blended pop, folk, rock, and heartfelt storytelling in a way that felt deeply personal, allowing listeners to connect with every lyric. Throughout the decade, Simon delivered one unforgettable hit after another. Classics such as Anticipation, You're So Vain, The Right Thing to Do, Mockingbird, a memorable duet with her then-husband James Taylor, and the James Bond theme Nobody Does It Better became worldwide favorites. Among them, You're So Vain stood out as a cultural phenomenon. Its mysterious lyrics left fans endlessly guessing who inspired the song, turning it into one of the most discussed and analyzed tracks in music history. Rather than slowing down, Carly continued to reinvent herself in the decades that followed. She expanded beyond recording albums, writing music for films, publishing children's books, and sharing her life story through best-selling memoirs. One of her greatest achievements came in 1989 with Let the River Run, written for the film Working Girl. The inspiring song earned her an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and a Grammy, making history as the first artist to write, compose, and perform a song that received all 3 prestigious honors. Across more than 5 remarkable decades, Carly Simon released dozens of successful albums, wrote best-selling books, and inspired countless musicians with her honest songwriting and unforgettable voice. Her lasting impact on American music was officially recognized in 2022 when she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, securing her place among the greatest singer-songwriters of all time. So, what do you think about Carly Simon's exit from the spotlight? Do you really think she would overcome her health crises and return to the spotlight? We'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.